Hi guys, Leanne, Barefoot Medium here. I'm hoping I'm live. Couldn't quite see, there's a bit of sunshine here. I just thought I'd pop on and do a really quick Facebook Live with you on a topic around value and worthiness, and just kind of talk to you all about what that means and what you believe it means and how you connect with it. Hi Faith. Hi Tony, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I just want to get you guys to interact with this Facebook Live for me. So Tony and Faith, thank you for joining me. I just want you to comment about what you feel the word value means to you. What do you look for? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it look like to you? And as you're doing that, I just want to kind of let you know I've been doing a bit of an experiment. And for those of you who know my background, hi whoever else has joined us, those of you who know a bit of my background, I worked in university education for 20 years, both initially as a admin assistant on reception, and then I went full-time study and did psychology, criminology, a little bit of arts, and then my master's in training and development, or teaching or education. I think they've now renamed it. And in amongst that, my jobs within the university were initially student counsellor, then an academic advisor, and then I moved into a management role where I was responsible for, oh God, I don't even know how many, it changed so often, for managing all of the students and all the teaching staff within, I think I had 5 programs at one point. Biomedical science, engineering, criminology. I looked after a foundation program with young students, and they were mainly international students. I also did the timetabling. I did a little bit of IT stuff, and the guys there used to call me the wannabe geek. And I've got expertise in teaching. I also taught academic and professional skills development to students from all over the world for many, many years, and I coordinated a group of teachers and all the assessment, wrote assessment programs, wrote courses, curriculum development, all sorts of different things. And I've been doing a bit of an experiment with, yes, I'm a psychic medium. I'm also an intuitive love relationship and business coach, and I use my mediumship and intuitive skills, I guess you'd call it, which I've also developed and attended, Arthur Findlay College, where I've worked with some really well-known international mediums like Paul Jacobs, who's just amazing, Val Williams in the UK, Sandy Barker, who I just loved and adored, her straight shooting approach, and another little Scottish lady that I cannot remember her name right now, but was just fabulous. And paid for those airfares and paid for that course in amongst it. And I've been doing a bit of research on, my business strategy, my marketing strategy, and what other mediums and spiritual workers, healers, intuitives are doing with their marketing, as well as price points. And it's really, really interesting because, one of the things that we often connect with value or worthiness is a number. So for example, in your first jobs, what did you do? Were you looking for a pay rise in order to know that you were valued and you were worthy and that you were respected and honoured for the work and the commitment and the wisdom and the knowledge that you actually have? And what pay packet were you on? Because really sometimes that's what people look at to know where they're at in terms of value, and it's not the only thing. I'm just, am wanting to have a conversation with you guys about money and what people are charging for readings in particular. Because what I found and what I did was a bit of an experiment with offering free readings and seeing what impact that had on my business and on client bookings. And let me tell you, when I offered free readings, my paid readings just diminished, went way down. Not a reflection of, my worthiness. It was an experiment that I did based on, just let's see whether this marketing strategy works for me. And the reality is it wasn't valuing my time, my energy, which was, the connection to spirit, or even the wisdom from over 20, 30 years of full-time work and curriculum development and managing people or counselling people or students, or just that relationships and connections that I've had through the years. And in all my readings and in all my coaching programs, I share that knowledge and I share that wisdom. And I wonder what value people put on knowledge and wisdom, because what I'm aware of is that there's a lot of people particularly utilising Facebook for free readings and jumping around from one Facebook page to another to get the free readings that they want without having to pay for it. And what I want to say about that is, and there's a beautiful lady that I used to work with, Sarah Yip, who talks about, if you give out too much energy without paying for it, it creates karmic ties, as in that needs to be rebalanced. And Sarah's awesome with money stuff and value stuff. So, her popping back into my awareness right now is really important, and I appreciate that and I honour that. And one of the things that another fellow spiritual worker said to me was, another medium was complaining on their Facebook page about another medium coming to Australia to do an event, and they were charging US dollars, and how when they converted that it was too expensive. Yet this was a very, very well-known medium who's done years and years of work and travelled all around the world and developed, behind the scenes, putting a lot of time, energy and commitment into it. And when I converted the US dollars over to Australian dollars, it wasn't actually very expensive at all. And it was actually exactly the same as this particular Australian medium was charging for a reading in Australian dollars. So it was a little bit contradictory in terms of energetically. And I'm not judging what people are charging for their readings. That's their own choices and their own, awarenesses. Part of what I've done is a bit of research from a business perspective, because that's what you do, into what are all the mediums in Australia charging for a half-hour read, and what are they charging for a 1 hour read? What's their background? How many years have they been practicing? What training have they completed? What events or what testimonials have they got? So in other words, what practical experience and what runs on the board have they got? And I was also made aware of by a different client, actually, of another medium that has only just started in the industry, who's started off charging 200 Australian for a 1 hour reading. And this particular person has trained with a well-known US-based medium, and the discussion was around whether they were leveraging that name in order to charge that pricing. And it's just an interesting discussion. Once again, I'm not judging it, I'm just raising it as an awareness point, and I'm aware that there's some people on this page who are in the same industry and just aware of that. The other thing I did was a bit of research into US mediums, because when I studied at in the UK at Arthur Findlay College, which is the place for mediums and a specialised college for mediumship learning and psychic development, And when I studied there, I met quite a few US mediums. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining me. And a number of them became friends, and they're based in the US. And I thought, okay, well, I'm based over this side of the world right now, and one of the issues that I've been having is I can't pay into my Colombian bank account in Australian dollars. So I had to flip my pricing to US dollars because taking money out of my Australian bank account was costing me more than converting it over to US dollars. So I did a bit of a pricing comparison again with, hey Frank, welcome, thank you so much for joining me. I did another pricing comparison to my colleagues who I trained with in the same course. We did the same program with the same teacher. We have similar levels of experience, some less experience than what I have in doing platform events or one-on-one reads or even teaching. And just for the Australian people on this page, just to give you a bit of perspective, because I feel like within the spiritual industry, there's a real culture of undervalue and underappreciation and underworthiness of what we do. And I'm sorry, but it is not just about having a gift. It is all my years of experience in teaching, in management, in relating to people, or my knowledge or my wisdom that comes with my spiritual gift. Okay, so that's first and foremost, and all the years that I paid to study and the thousands and thousands of dollars that I paid on my own development, psychology, criminology and teaching, my mediumship development, flights to the UK, courses, workshops in amongst it, everything like that, plus all the hours that I've sat in meditation and one-on-one development with spirit, helping, develop my skills in that way. And people in the US, just to give you a perspective, are charging, one person I came across today was charging $220 US for a half-hour reading. Again, no judgment. Another one was charging about $300 for a 1 hour reading, and that was about standard, plus or minus $20, $30. Another lady that I came across today is actually based in Colombia and does readings in Colombia. And when I converted the prices that she was offering for sessions into Australian dollars, her price point, and she's got, I think she said she had 10 years experience with working with spirit in all different ways on her website. And when I converted it to Australian dollars, her half-hour reads were 350 Australian, and her 1 hour reads were 450 Australian dollars. And people pay that because they value her. They value her skills, they value her knowledge, they value her wisdom. And I also checked out Lisa Williams's website and a couple of other quite well-known mediums in the US, and I think Lisa was charging about $400 for an hour and about $250, maybe $300 for half-hour reads, depending on what it was. Now, I just wanted to have a bit of a discussion, and I would love for you guys to comment, particularly Faith and Frank. I know that you guys have, got some ties to the spiritual industry in particular. And I just want to say that just because I'm a medium, or someone else may be a medium or a psychic, we have rent to pay, we have a mortgage to pay, we have food to put on the table, we have family to look after, all of that. And, I'm, to be quite honest, a bit sick of it being treated like a free gift. And so I just wanted to let you know that that's what I've been doing, is doing a bit of a marketing exercise in offering free reads and seeing how many of those actually converted and how many of those actually valued the wisdom and the knowledge and the guidance that they were getting. And some of you may have noticed that the last live feed I did with one card reads for Temple TV last week, I had a lady on there that said, oh, I've got a second profile because I've been blocked. Yes, she was blocked because she disrespected the spiritual energy, she disrespected the energy in the space, She also sent private messages that were very disrespectful, and also put quite detailed information up on the public page about a suicide. And I'm very mindful of that, given my psychology background, that anyone I connect to with a mediumship reading in particular, and I did one for a lovely lady the other night who's on this page, and I'm so grateful, Sam, for you allowing me to connect you with your partner. And this particular lady just was incredibly rude, and so I blocked her because I'm aware of what impact grief has on people, and I will not allow anyone else to be triggered by old memories in a space where they're not ready to be seeing that. Okay, because I know what the psychological impact is when people are moving through grief, and particularly when you're dealing with suicides. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm having a bit of a rant and a ramble about. And to let you guys know that I've flipped between Australian dollars, US dollars on my website for the last few months, probably about 3 months, just to see what impact it would have on my marketing and on my business in particular. And I just need to make a decision and stay firm on it, and that's how we manifest and co-create with the universe. And so what works for me, guys, I know you're in Australia, a lot of you, and I value and I appreciate and I honour those of you who support me by booking into readings and booking in for sessions. I do have smaller phone sessions for those of you who may not have the resources at your hands at this moment. There are smaller sessions that you can choose from, and I am flipping to US dollars, and I am looking at the value of those reads and what people get out of them, and the changes that people get as a result. For example, one guy that I did a read for was about work, and the insights that came through gave him really practical steps about how to change from a situation that he wasn't valued, he wasn't being paid enough for what his skill levels were. He wasn't excited about going to work. He was bored because he wasn't utilising the skills or the wisdom that he had, so he was undervaluing himself. And so Spirit gave him some real practical steps and actions that he needed to take if he wanted to change that situation. Now, one of my ideal clients, this young guy, I think he's 21, maybe 22, the very afternoon after that reading messaged me and said, okay, I spoke to my partner. I've told him that I will be resigning from my job at this date. The partner needs to find a job because he was supporting the partner as well. And the day after that, he spoke to his boss and said, here's the deal, I'm resigning on this date. I don't enjoy it. The boss then offered him a different opportunity that pays more and that utilises his skills. So the value of that reading for him was that it changed his life. It changed his emotional state, it changed his work environment, and it changed his home situation. And so that's the value that people get out of a reading. Okay, it's not just a number value, and it's all about the wisdom and the knowledge that goes with that. So I have made a decision that I will not be offering one-card reads on this page anymore for free. If you wish to gain access to my knowledge, my guidance from Spirit through me, or to have intuitive coaching to move you from where you are to where you want to be, and to keep you accountable for taking the actions to change your life rather than just sitting there and not taking responsibility for it, then you'll have to book in for a session. And I do those online with clients all the time. I want you to get value out of what you pay for, and I believe that I offer enormous value, and that not only do we connect with your loved ones who pass, we give you the insight that you need to change your life into what you want. and to sort out problems or solve issues that might be coming up for you that are creating blocks to your abundance, whatever that looks like for you. And so I'm keeping my prices at US dollars, and there may be an increase in pricing coming up to better reflect my skill level, and keeping me on par with those that I've actually trained with, rather than undervaluing myself. So stay tuned. If you want a reading with me, I would get in quick, because I'm more than likely going to up the prices real soon, and they will be in US dollars, because that's how I need to receive the financial resources to support me in doing this work full time, and to be able to get that in my bank account here in Colombia to do so, rather than in my Australian bank account and having to pay out extra money for that on the other end. So that's it. Just wanted to have a quick conversation with you about value and worthiness, and I want to ask you to do some reflecting on where are you undervaluing yourself around time, whether you're giving your time and your energy away for free, or whether you're giving your time and energy away to things that you don't enjoy and don't love, or your resources, which includes finances, or your knowledge and your wisdom. Where are you giving it away and undervaluing it? And I want you to do some real hard reflecting on that, because where you're undervaluing yourself, there's worthiness issues. And so, you know, if you want to increase your self-esteem and your worthiness, then take a look at that to start with, and that will get you moving in the right direction. So I'm going to leave it there and try and catch my kitty cat who's gone for a wander down the corridor. Oh, there she is. Can you see her? There she is. That's Cupid. So yeah, I thought I would just share that very quickly with you guys, and I would love to hear your thoughts about you know, what you're willing to pay for a reading, and the knowledge and wisdom that you get out of that. All right, see you. Have a